All right, welcome. Hope you enjoyed that music while you waited for us to begin. Welcome to today's Arts District 6th Street Station Project Public Scoping Meeting. We're so glad to have you here today. My name is Michael Cortez. I am the Community Relations Manager for the Central Los Angeles area and also Outreach Lead for this project. Before we begin today's presentation, we just wanted to go over some housekeeping items. Next slide, please. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted later on Metro's website, and that is metro.net/arts-dist6th station. And that will be available next week after our last public scoping meeting on Saturday. If you run into any issues where you can't access today's public scoping meeting, we do have technical support. You can call 213-326-1787. Today, we're going to be taking verbal comments and they will be received after today's presentations. And if you don't want to make a verbal comment, we will also be accepting comments and they can be submitted through the Q&A box that should be also on your screen. We do have closed captioning. If you want to follow along, just select on the CC at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We also have interpretation here today in Spanish and English. So if you click on the interpretation icon and then just select the language of your choice. Thank you. And at this time, we would like to begin today's presentation. I'll turn over to Brian Lamb, the project manager who will be leading us in the presentation. Oh, I'm sorry, I started too soon. So just wanted to give you a quick rundown of how verbal comments are going to be taken today. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to speak on any of the comments they wanted to provide on today's presentation. To request to speak, if you're using the Zoom app, you just raise your hand and we will call on you based on who is listed first. If you're calling in, we ask you to dial 9 to raise your hand and we will see it. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted. And so you'll see it says, please unmute yourself. So click on the little box and then unmute yourself. For call-in users, the way to unmute yourself, you'll dial *6 and then we'll hear your number and to be announced. So this will also be shared again at the end of the presentation as well, so you won't forget how to provide comments today. So with that, now I'd like to turn over to Brian, who will lead us in today's presentation. Brian?
Thanks so much, Michael. And thanks everyone again for taking the time this evening to join us for our first scoping meeting for the Arts District 6th Street Station project. My name is Brian Lamb. I'm a transportation planner at LA Metro managing this project. Here's an agenda for tonight's meeting. We'll talk a little bit about the project need and the objectives that we're trying to achieve. We'll go over the project and what you can expect from what's being proposed. We'll talk about what's going to be studied as part of the draft environmental impact report. We'll go over the schedule, the purpose of why we're all here, and then we'll finally move into the public comment section of the meeting. So there are a few overarching objectives that we're trying to achieve with the Arts District 6th Street Station project. We aim to support and improve the transportation, mobility, and accessibility needs of the Arts District, Boyle Heights, Little Tokyo, and the surrounding communities. We want to integrate with the Metro's existing system, as well as the future transit network, as well as the planned pedestrian and bicycle improvements around the area. And we also want to provide a transit station that is compatible with surrounding projects. Here's an aerial view, just to provide some context of where the Arts District 6th Street Station project is located. The station site shown in purple here is located just south of of LA Union Station, as well as the existing Metro Division 20 maintenance and storage yard. And this is where subway trains are stored and maintained when they're not in service. The Division 20 portal widening and turnback facility project is also currently under construction, and that's shown in green here. And this project's needed to expand the capacity of the Division 20 yard due to the D line extension, which is the also known as the Purple Line West Side extension. And the portal widening will also be able to increase the frequencies of the B and D lines, formerly the red and purple lines. You can also see that the proposed station site is located just south of the city's new 6th Street Viaduct, which is currently under construction and shown in blue here. And Amtrak, BNSF, and Metrolink tracks run to the east of the station site, and those are shown in yellow. So the Arts District 6th Street Station project is proposing to extend the current terminus of either the B or D lines, and those lines currently terminate at Union Station. So we're proposing to extend either of those lines into the Arts District to the proposed station site near 6th Street. And the trains would utilize the Division 20 turnback tracks, which are being constructed as part of the Division 20 portal widening and turnback facility project. So as part of this project, we would be constructing a new heavy rail station and an extension of the heavy rail train tracks. So as I mentioned, the Arts District 6th Street Station project is utilizing the Division 20 turnback tracks wherever possible. However, there will be some track work changes that are needed. And the extension of the heavy rail tracks is shown in blue on this graphic. And design of the project still in the very early stages, but the approximate locations of where track work changes might be needed are shown in magenta. And these track work changes belong to tracks that are owned by Metro, Amtrak, BNSF, and or Metrolink. And the project area is pretty constrained in the space as it's situated between the LA River and the train tracks to the east and structures to the west. So partial acquisitions might be required in some areas as well. We will be looking at a few potential station access options from 6th Street, Mesquite Street, and 7th Street. So in addition to our project, there are a lot of other exciting projects in the area as well. On the Metro side, I've already mentioned Division 20, but there's also the LA River Path, which is a multi-use path, so both pedestrian and bicycle use. And that project's currently in the environmental clearance phase. The path would run alongside the LA River and is shown in green here. And it does have a potential access point at 6th Street. From the city side, there's the 6th Street Viaduct, which will improve pedestrian and bike connectivity, as well as providing a vital connection to and from Boyle Heights. And that's also currently under construction. Also from the city, there's the Park Project, both on the east and west sides of the LA River. And these are planned open spaces that are located near and under the new 6th Street Viaduct. And then directly adjacent to the proposed Arts District 6th Street Station site is the 670 Mesquite private development. And then to the north of here, but not shown in this graphic, is the regional connector in Little Tokyo that is also in fairly close proximity. And so we will be evaluating all the environmental topics identified by CEQA in the environmental impact report. And key impact topics are listed here. And as we go through our environmental analyses and the technical studies, Any mitigation measures that are needed will be identified and put into the EIR as well. And so the EIR process was officially started on March 29th with the release of the Notice of Preparation. And we're now currently in a 45-day public scoping period. So May 12th marks the end of that scoping period, meaning all comments on the scope of the EIR must be received before May 12th. And after that, we'll begin the environmental analysis and the technical studies to support that analysis. But we do anticipate that the draft EIR will be available for public review in spring of next year. Public participation will be ongoing throughout the EIR study. And so why are we here? As I mentioned, we're in the scoping phase of the EIR. And simply put, that's we're announcing the start of the environmental analysis and introducing the project to you. So what comments are we looking for and what feedback are we looking for? We want to hear from you about the scope of the EIR. Any comments on potential issues that you are concerned about? We want help identifying the project goals. So in other words, what do you want out of this project? And all the comments that we receive during the scoping period will be documented in the scoping report. And the comments will then be used to inform the draft environmental analysis. I do want to reiterate that the project is in the very early stages and technical studies have not yet begun. So at this time, we won't be able to answer any questions on technical aspects. So the scoping period lasts 45 days, and as I mentioned, will end on May 12th. During this period, there are numerous ways that you can comment. So today, during the scoping meeting, we'll be taking comments, both verbal and through the Q&A feature on Zoom, as Michael mentioned earlier. You can also physically mail any comments to me at my work address listed here. You can also email any comments to the project email address, or you can use our convenient online comment form that's listed on our project website. And so we will be hosting a second scoping meeting this coming Saturday on April 17th, excuse me, from 11 to 1 p.m. And all the information presented there will be the same as what you're receiving at this meeting, but feel free to attend if you want a second dose of this information. Also, if you know anyone that was unable to attend today's meeting, feel free to let them know about the Saturday meeting as well. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Jason from Ariano Associates, who will be leading the verbal comment portion of today's meeting.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We hope this information session was helpful and informative. It looks like we have a good turnout, nearly 50 people online right now. As mentioned, we're going to open this up to comments. There'll be a 2-minute comment session per speaker. As Michael had mentioned, you'll be able to use the raise your hand feature to activate our awareness that you'd like to make a comment, and then we'll go ahead and open the mic for you to make your comment. For those dialing in, again, *9 is how you'll notify us that you'd like to speak. I guess let's look for some hands here. Stevie will be supporting. Also, just as a reminder, Michael will be keeping an eye on our Q&A session for those of you that either do not have a hot mic or would prefer to have a written comment rather than a oral comment this evening. So please feel free to use that as another method, and we'll read your comment aloud for everyone to hear. And just looking for hands. These could be simple questions, timeline, anything that was brought up in the session that you'd like to know more about. As best we can do at this stage. Obviously, we're early in the process. So there's much to be uncovered and assessed in the next year or so.
Okay, looks like we have a hand raised with
All right.
Hillary Norton.
Yes. Hillary, you have the mic.
Great. I have a question first, and then can my time get started? The question is about the when this could be delivered, actually used as a station. What's the earliest it could be delivered?
So at this time, I can't speak to when the project will be delivered. We currently only have funding for the environmental clearance. So as we move forward through the environmental clearance stage, we will be looking for potential funding for construction. But at this time, it's too early to say on a construction timeline.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, then I'd like to provide my comments, which is, my name is Hillary Norton, and I am the Executive Director of FastLink DTLA, and I'm also the Chairwoman of the California Transportation Commission, but my comments are as the Executive Director of FastLink DTLA. And I want to say how much I support this station and the fact that it is one of the most interconnected modally stations that we are going to have, with connecting to the LA River bike path, connecting to phase 2 of the LA streetcar, connecting to the bike corridors and pedestrian corridors along the river, along the Arts District, and the bike paths on the 6th Street Viaduct. I am so excited about how this is going to network with all of these modes. And because of that, I think this is a great opportunity to design it so that there is great flow in all of these modes as pedestrians walk in, with significant bike parking, and to really look at this as an opportunity to connect up some signature infrastructure. And I just want to say that this is one of the most exciting stations. I've been looking forward to seeing this happen for 5 years. And I just think that this is a time that we can really go for it in a big way. And I look forward to working with you on identifying state and federal funding to really make it a signature intermodal facility. And I want to thank all that were involved for actually connecting this up to how we can design it around a park and the viaduct and new development and the bike path. You don't normally see something this thoughtful and this intermodal, and I, for one, can't wait to see us happen.
That was well put. I think we're all very excited. Michael, before we move on to Alyssa, it looks like Alyssa just raised her hand, but Michael, we do have a comment on the Q&A session from
Yes.
Lindsay Mills.
Yes, it was from Lindsay, and I believe Brian answered it from Hillary's question. It was a very similar question, so thank you.
Okay. And then Alyssa, you're on the line.
Hello, are you able to hear me well? I'm not sure if
We are, yes.
Okay, great. My name is Alyssa Hurley. I'm from Circuit Transit. We're a LA Clean Tech Incubator market access company. LACI is in the Arts District, and we've provided service in the area for some events. And we believe that, you know, a new station in the Arts District would be really great for accessibility, and that there's a lot of new innovations and transportation options that can help get people to and from this station that would increase the catchment area. One of them would be, you know, an all-electric microtransit option, which could connect people to the station without any new infrastructure needs. And we would be happy to provide some information for that. We also know that with CMO and some other CARB grants, there is funding that could be applied for a community needs assessment. If that's of interest, we would be happy to work with the city in applying for any of those. and very supportive of the station and for this new infrastructure coming to an area that has been lacking in transportation options previously and has been growing in the available technology and transportation options in the area.
Great. Thank you for that, Alyssa. It looks like we have another hand raised. Derek Bennett, we'll go ahead and give you a mic. Derek, there you go.
Hi there. I think I'm here now. Okay, great.
Yes.
Yes, Derek Benedict, Project Director for Los Angeles Streetcar Incorporated. We're very excited about this opportunity for multimodal connectivity, especially in what's a very quickly growing part of downtown that's difficult to access from the regional transit system. As mentioned, LA Streetcar is actually just beginning to explore a phase 2 of our project from the downtown core, across the Fashion District and Historic District into the Arts District that would make a great connection to the 6th Street Station and the new viaduct, the river path that's been mentioned. So again, excited to work with Metro on this project. Also excited about the funding opportunities for this project. We've been working with the partners, and exploring the tax increment districts that are being explored for downtown. We think this project and with the streetcar project will really help drive values in the area that'll help advance some of these projects quicker. Also the not just the 6th Street Station, but also the West Santa Ana branch entry into downtown. So again, we look forward to working with Metro on this. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Derek. Looks like we don't have any hands right now, but I'll take a moment to just remind people in the chat function, if you open that up, that's accessible by the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. If you roll your arrow down, the toolbar will pop up. For some of you, it may be on the sidebar. Please go to that and use the sign-in form. There you could use your name, your contact information, so that we make sure to include you in future project notifications. Obviously, we'll be coming back out to the community at later points in time and wanting to include you at that time. So it'd be great if we could stay in touch. So still looking for hands. Looks like we have a question from Jason. Stevie, if you can open his mic. You have the mic,
Can you hear
Jason?
me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, just one question. I understand Metro gave a grant to the city of Los Angeles about 3 years ago to do an EIFD study that could potentially fund the station. Has there been any news on what's the status of that study and whether it's looking like it's a likely funding source or anything? That's just my question.
Brian?
Oh, hey, Jason. Sorry, I don't know, but I can look into that for you, and then we can touch base after this meeting.
All right. So we're looking for, and again, Jason, that would be a good reason to sign up, make sure that we can follow up with you. Looks like we have a hand from Mike Condon. Mike, you have the mic.
Yeah, thank you. I more just have a question, not a comment. In looking at the map where the station's potentially proposed, where is the public access coming in and off of the rail from? Will that be more directed towards the bridge area and potentially taking part of Metro's parking lot, or what's the plan of access for it?
Yeah, can we go back just real quick to the slide where we had the project description or the project map? Yeah, this one's good. So Mike, we're looking at primary station access to the north of the station. You'll see the orange parcels. There's a DWP parcel that we're evaluating as primary station access, which would connect to Mesquite Street, possibly through vertical circulation. There's also potential for connecting to 6th Street via inactive 6th Street tunnel that is currently there. And that might be able to provide some connection to the City of LA Park project.
Okay, great. Yeah, I saw something about needing to take the Lucky Brands building in an urbanized post, and I didn't think that was correct. So thank you for answering the question.
Sure.
Thank you, Mike. So it looks like we're still looking for some other hands. Any comments? Jason, we have another comment from him and from Michael Legrand. Michael, if you'd like to take those.
Yes, Michael Legrand wrote, the draft 2040 community plan does not recognize the 6th Street station. Can you work with the city so that the future projects can plan connectivity and TOD related urban design enhancements to facilitate the station? So thank you for your comments, Michael. And then Jason's question, can you explain in written form how to sign into the virtual guest book?
Right. And Jason, just for to read aloud, if you go to the chat function, it's actually, it's in there. It's an active link that you'll be able to activate, and then that'll give you an online form for you to sign in. And Stevie, just to follow up with Jason in case there's a connection, can you please go ahead and type that in to the
We will post
responses?
that again right now.
Okay. Thank you. So going back, looking, we don't see any hands. This is your time. We'd love to hear from you. Again, there's a number of ways you can comment, either written or, oh, there we go. Spoke too soon. So Frank Gallo and Hillary, we have another question from. So let's start with Frank. Frank, you have the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm the property owner of the 670 Mesquite project, and I just want to tell you from our point of view, we've been in the Arts District for 40 plus years, and we're very excited to be working with Metro and trying to develop this stop, something that we feel that's vital to the area and something that can happen a lot quicker than possibly the West Santa Ana branch. The other thing we would like to mention is the opportunity to be ahead of the final design work for the south end of the park. We see the opportunity with our development and with the park and the station to really tie that whole area south of 6th Street together. And, you know, we look forward to continuing communications with Metro and making this a reality for the Arts District and something that the Arts District greatly needs. The other thing I'd just like to say, if, you know, as much as you can get this out there, there are still people out in the Arts District that believe there's a station happening behind One Santa Fe. I think once they understand that this is a real opportunity at 6th Street, I think you'll see a lot more people attending these scoping meetings. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
Absolutely. Thank you for participating. Hillary, let's go ahead and open our mic up. Stevie. Hillary, you have the mic.
Thanks. I just wanted to add that a number of organizations wrote in for the planning department in the city of Los Angeles, their consideration for the downtown LA 2040 plan. We wrote specifically that we wanted to see the 6th Street station included in that plan. And so I want to make sure that we can somehow transmit all of the testimony that went in, because lots and lots of organizations have submitted that because they want to see the 6th Street station on the map for the DTLA 2040 plan, and to make sure that all of the things that come with, you know, designing around an active transit station are included. And so I want that to be included in the testimony today about the scoping meeting, that the DTLA 2040 plan and this EIR need to be talking to each other, and that we need to have recorded all of the organizations that came as part of the DTLA 2040 plan, and asked that the 6th Street station be on the map as part of the consideration as a future active transit station and with all of the multimodal access to it. And that the design features for the community plan reflect being adjacent to a active transit station like the 6th Street station.
Okay, so thank you for that. We'll obviously, staff will make sure and work behind the scenes to make sure they're looking at that and doing what they need to. Michael, it looks like we have a couple more comments on the Q&A side. Do you want to read those aloud?
Yes. So from Miguel Vargas, we have a comment and a question that I think the team will go back and consider is, could President Biden's proposed infrastructure plan potentially serve as a funding source for this 6th Street station? So thank you for your question, Miguel. And then Michael Legrand wrote, how can local property owners help make sure Metro gets the resources needed to finalize the EIR?
All right, thank you. So while we're waiting for those, we did have another raised hand from James Okazaki. Excuse me, James, if I'm a little rough with your name. James, I believe you have the mic.
Let's see, I'm mute. Hey, I was wondering, is there any consideration for environmentally clearing south of 6th Street or the 7th Street station? Could the line go further south? I don't know if staff ever even looked at taking it underneath the Santa Monica Freeway and going even further south to a possible another station south of the proposed station at the 7th Street. Can the red line, purple line be extended further south along the river?
Hi, James, this is Brian. So as part of this environmental study, we are only looking at extending the red or purple line to 6th Street.
I realize that, yeah. Just
yeah,
wondering.
that's not to say that in the future something could happen, but as part of this project, we're only looking at the scope towards 6th Street.
So what's your budget then for this project, the EIR?
Sorry,
Brian?
could you repeat?
Brian,
could you repeat that, James?
Yeah, what is your budget for this project? I was just wondering if you got extra $500,000, if you could include taking a look at beyond.
So as part of this environmental study, it's...
I thought the city of LA at one time, Brian, was offering, I thought CD14 was offering some funding to help with the EIR. Wasn't that the talk? And does that still exist? Yeah.
The city of LA is our funding partner in this environmental study. We do have a funding agreement with the city for $500,000, which will help fund the draft environmental document, as well as some early design work and public outreach. And at this time, the $500,000 is all that we have allocated for this project.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you later, separately. Thanks.
Michael, looks like we have a couple more.
Yes, we have actually one more in the Q&A. And then also, this is just a friendly reminder that we are just taking all comments and questions at this time. So if for some reason you don't get a response, is because we're just taking it in, and we'll have to further analyze or just take it all in and during this study time period. So, but we thank you for these questions that we have that you're providing us today in the comments. So Jason did provide a comment in the Q&A. Metro designed the Division 20 portal widening project so that it would not create issues for this potential project. Could this project also be designed so it does not create potential issues for any future expansions of the B and D line? For example, there were plans to extend the red line to East LA in the 1990s. By the way, thank you. I've signed into the virtual guest book, by the way. Thanks, Jason.
All right. So thank you, Michael. And thanks again for keeping us updated on who would like to be included in future notifications. Your sign-ins are welcome. I do not see any comments or raised hands at this time, so we'll just kind of repeat the process. If you are calling in, you can dial *9 to indicate that you would like to have a mic to make a comment. And for those that obviously are on computers today, using the raised hand function is available to you as well. Comments will be available beyond this period. There is a scoping period that will be running. It will be repeated after actually, maybe we can just move to that slide for a second, Stevie, just to share with everyone what that comment period is, March 29th through May 12th. And you can write directly to Brian or email the team. You could also leave a comment online through the website comment form. This is pretty standard for those of you that worked with Metro before on other projects. We definitely would love to hear from you and make sure that we're getting all your feedback and considering that in the course of the development of this draft document. Looks like we have another hand up from James again. James, I think you have the mic.
Thank you. I wanted to say that I also support this project as a transportation professional. And I think the Little Tokyo Community Council also, speaking for them, that they support this project. But also looking broadly, I want to make sure that this scoping includes analysis of how we could interface the East LA folks from getting to the station site the best they can, whether they drive or take transit or walk, So please take a look at how to best serve the East Los Angeles community east of the LA River to this station, and not necessarily just the art district and the people that are using the city parks there. Okay, so for commuting purposes to get to the red line, purple line from East LA. Thank you.
Great comment. Thank you. Okay, so we are keeping eyes peeled for any other comments. Just as a time check for everyone, it is 5:38, so we do have a lot of time for you. Do not feel rushed, but take your time to be thoughtful. If you do have anything you'd like to make a comment on or question you'd like to leave for consideration in the development of the draft environmental document, there are a few dozen of you out there, so we definitely want to hear from you.
I just, Jason would like to add, again, thank you to everyone that is participating in today's public scoping meeting. As Jason mentioned, we are actually going to be here until 7 o'clock. So if there is a comment or question that you would like to leave today, you more than happy to do it through verbally and by raising your hand, as Jason's explained here, or you can provide it through the Q&A or through the different channels that he also has mentioned as well. So like I said, feel free to go get your food. If you're thinking of a question or comment, feel free to come back. We're here until 7 o'clock. So if you do hear silence during this time, it's just because we're waiting for people if they have any questions or comments. So the presentation has been completed for today. And right now we're just in the receiving any comments or questions that people might have. So thank you again.
All right. So we have a comment, raised hand from Mary McCormick. You have the mic, Mary.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Great, thank you. First of all, congratulations on this effort. Having been working in this area for many, many years, we're really excited to see this moving forward. It's an exciting project, and I wish you all due success. I do have a question regarding this station and how it's currently proposed to integrate with the Link Union Station project as that starts to move forward. Are there any specific connectivity connections there that you see may either be very successful or possibly of a concern? I was just curious how those two projects will integrate.
Thank you for that question. We'll be sure to address it in our documentation. Looks like we have a couple from those of you on the Q&A. Michael?
Yes, Michael Bates wrote a comment. Unfortunately, he has just joined, and will the presentation be repeated for latecomers? And then Miguel Vargas, has a consultant been selected to help with the project outreach? And then Jennifer Hines responded, Brian, as the person closest to this project, what would you say we neighbors of this project need to know? Pluses, minus, or interesting? I would say, Brian, if you're open to it, maybe go through the parts of the presentation again.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe-
open to that. We still have quite a few attendees, so I'm not sure how many people joined late, but I'm open to going over the presentation again.
Yeah, it looked like there were people that arrived late. So Hillary Norton had also said, if you can go return to the detailed map slide of the project and describe the way the Metro is considered creating connections to both 6th Street and 7th Street.
Ryan, did you want to repeat the presentation from the start, just for those that did come late?
Sure. Why don't we start from, yeah, let's start at the aerial view. Cool. So this aerial view hopefully provides some context of where the Arts District 6th Street Station project is located. The station site, which is shown in purple here, is located just south of the existing Metro Division 20 maintenance and storage yard. And the Division 20 yard is where subway trains are stored and maintained when they're not in service. And also happening at Division 20 is the portal widening and turnback facility project, which is under construction. And that project is needed to expand the capacity of the yard due to the D-line west side extension. And it'll also enable the B and D lines to increase their frequency. You can also see that the site is located just south of the city's new 6th Street Viaduct, which is currently also under construction. And Amtrak, BNSF, and Metrolink tracks run to the east of the station site. So the Arts District 6th Street Station project is proposing to extend the current terminus of either the B or D lines, which are formerly known as the red or purple lines. And those currently terminate at Union Station. So we're proposing an extension into the Arts District to the proposed station site near 6th Street. The trains would utilize the Division 20 turnback tracks, which are being constructed as part of the Division 20 portal winding and turnback facility project. And a new heavy rail station and extension of the heavy rail train tracks would be constructed as part of this project. So as mentioned, we will be trying to utilize the Division 20 turnback tracks as much as possible. However, there will be some track work changes that are needed. The extension of the heavy rail tracks is shown in blue here. And the design of the project is still in the early stages, but the approximate locations of where track work maybe would need to be changed is shown in magenta. And tracks in this area belong to Metro, Amtrak, BNSF, and Metrolink. So the track changes could affect any of these entities. And the project area is quite constrained on space in the area, as it's kind of sandwiched in between the LA River, the existing train tracks to the east, and structures to the west. So partial acquisitions may be needed in some areas. Station access, we're looking at a few potential options. We're looking at accessing 6th Street through an inactive 6th Street tunnel that is currently there. We're also looking to connect to Mesquite Street through a LADWP parcel, which is shown in orange here. And there's also potential to connect south to 7th Street. In addition to the Arts District 6th Street Station project, there's a lot of other projects in this area, not just from Metro, but private developments, as well as projects from the city. On the Metro side, I've already mentioned Division 20 to the north of this area. There's also the LA River Path, which is a multi-use path currently undergoing environmental clearance. And so this will be a pedestrian and bike path that has a potential access point also at 6th Street. And on the city side, there's the 6th Street Viaduct, which will improve the pedestrian and bike connectivity, as well as providing that vital connection to and from Boyle Heights. The city is also planning a park project, both on the east and west sides of the LA River. And these are planned open spaces located under and near the new 6th Street Viaduct. And also want to mention that directly adjacent to the proposed Arts District 6th Street Station site is a private development, the 670 Mesquite development. And not shown here is Regional Connector in Little Tokyo, which is in close proximity just north of this graphic. And so as part of the environmental impact report, we will be evaluating all the environmental topics listed, identified by CEQA in the EIR. And key environmental topics are listed here. So as we work through our environmental analysis and technical studies, any mitigation measures that might be needed will be identified as part of the EIR as well. And so the EIR process was officially started on March 29th with the release of the Notice of Preparation. We're now in a 45-day public scoping period, and May 12th marks the end of that scoping period. So all comments on the scope of the EIR must be received before May 12th. After that, we'll take all the comments that we've received during the scoping period, and that will inform the environmental analysis and the technical studies. We anticipate that the draft EIR will be released for public review in the spring of next year. And public participation will continue throughout the EIR study. And so what is scoping? As I mentioned, we're in the scoping phase, and that's the very beginning of a project's environmental clearance. So simply put, we're just announcing the start of the environmental analysis for the project, as well as introducing the project to the public. And what kind of comments and feedback are we looking for during this time? We want feedback on the scope of the environmental impact report, comments on potential issues that you might have concerns about, help identifying the project goals. What do you want out of this project? And all the comments that we receive will be documented in the scoping report. And all these comments will help inform the draft EIR analysis. And I also want to reiterate that the project is in very early stages of design and technical studies have not begun. So at this time, we are unable to answer questions on those technical aspects. And Michael, do you want to talk about how to comment?
Yeah, I think we've, for those of you that arrived late, just to let you know, there are various ways you can provide comments either today verbally or in written form. As Brian mentioned, there's a 45-day public scoping comment period, which actually began on March 29th, but will close on May the 12th. And so if you want to submit comments on anything you heard today, you can do that verbally through the comment session, either through the Q&A box that's on the bottom of your screen, or if you're calling by phone, there's a different ways that Jason will just walk us through right now. Or you can do it through mail. Let's just say you want to dissect all this information a little bit more, or even after Saturday's presentation, you can also do it by mail, and you can email it to Brian Lamb. And then here's the address right here, the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, 1 Gateway Plaza, and then the zip code as well. You can also do it via email too. And this is the email address where you would do it at artdist6station@metro.net. Let's just say after all that, you don't want to do it through those channels. You can do it through the online comment form that's located on our website at metro.net/artsdistrictstation. And just again, to reminder, comment period ends on May 12th. So if you'd like to provide comment, we ask you to follow along this project. We'll also be reminding you if you signed up today or through our email address, if you do want to follow along the project. So we will be sending reminders to let you know, like, hey, the date's coming up where we're going to be closing comments. Next slide. So again, as I mentioned, we do have one final scoping meeting, and it is this Saturday, April 17th. If you want to bear with us one more time, you can come back on this Saturday at 11 o'clock. And here's the link and the meeting ID as well. And it was also dropped in the chat as well too, so you can copy and paste it as well. If you want to call in, it is for English only, and the Spanish and Japanese translations are just on Zoom. And then again, so hopefully you, those that arrived late were able to get all this information. And then right now, Jason will kind of walk us through the comment period if now afterwards you want to provide comment.
Thank you, Michael. I did want to take a minute just to reiterate to everyone, this was kind of inferred, but we will be sharing the presentation and the recording from these scoping meetings online. I believe we might even be sending those out to folks, but that will be to come following this session and the Saturday meeting. So if you have friends, if you have coworkers, and everyone's dying to participate in our comment period, again, going through May 12th, we'd love to hear from you and from your community. Please share the message and let them know that we are eager for your input. We are still waiting for comments, no hands raised at this time. There will be 2-minute speaker comments, the time for the speakers to leave their comments or questions. You can do this by raising your hand if you are working from a desktop. If you are calling in, you can dial *9, and that will let us know that you'd like to leave a comment and have the mic. For those of you that are dialing in, excuse me, you'll dial with *6, excuse me, getting confused there. But if you have questions, we really do want to hear from you. If you have comments, the more input, the better. These documents, these draft documents, are only as good really as the comments that come in. You know, technical teams are skilled. They're going to do a great job for you, but we want to hear from you. Looks like Miguel Vargas has a comment. Michael, if you'd like to read that.
Yes. Miguel's comment is the Los Angeles River Bike Path is on another Metro project. How would this project intersect with the future 6th Street Metro station? So I believe, Miguel, if you saw in Brian's presentation, he did show about the close proximity of other Metro projects in there that will be further analyzed in this study. So thank you for your question, and it is something that is in this study's analysis.
Okay. Waiting for questions. Still a few dozen of us online. Miguel, thank you for your thank you. We appreciate you. Any other questions or comments? We can bring back any of the maps if that would be beneficial to spurring ideas or input. Just let us know in the Q&A, or feel free to ask to raise your hand so we can do that for you. And again, we're going to be here till 7. So if you're waiting for your wife or your coworker to get off his phone call, have them jump online with us and join the call and give their 2 cents. We'd love to hear from them. So we are at near 6 o'clock for those of you that are watching the clock, but we do have time for you. Any comments, any questions, we'll be here for you. Stevie, maybe you could bring up the map with, or the picture of the map with the other projects in the area, just to show people the connectivity there. We can always jump back to the comment slide. So again, this is the critical tie-in of this project and how it will really help transform and link all of these active projects in the area and create a much more vital, connected community along the Arts District Boyle Heights corridor. Looks like we have a comment from an anonymous attendee. Michael, you want to read that?
Sure. Sorry if this was already discussed. They joined late, but what is the intended headway for the station once it's built? So thank you for your comment. Again, we did mention early on is all comments or questions will be further reviewed and analyzed in this study. So we may not have all the answers or questions here today, but we are taking them into consideration. So thank you for that.
So still waiting for comments at this time. Still a number of you online, so I find that inspiring that you're willing to stay with us, and hopefully some thoughts will come to mind. Somebody will say something you want to hear. So again, any comments or questions we welcome. We will be just recording these, and they will be responded to in the draft document. This is just a receiving period for us to take in your input and your concerns, your thoughts, your ideas, and your aspirations for what this project can be for the community. We look forward to any input you could provide. So please dig deep and let us know what's on your mind. Thank you.
Jason, I think it's also worth going back to the aerial view too.
Going back to the aerial view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe slowly, like a few minutes here, then a few minutes on the other slide, and then a few minutes on the other slide.
Michael, I know this isn't directly related to this project per se, but as the outreach lead on the Division 20 line, maybe with some of our free time, we could share an update where that project is at with those on the line.
That's a good question. The project is currently in construction, so it has a different project team led by Ned Racine. They do provide monthly meetings, so if anyone is interested in to get updates on the construction activities for that project, we're more than happy to connect you if you contact us via the Arts District Sister Station email address. It's a pretty
are in luck. We happen to have Ned Racine on the line right now.
Oh, great.
Ned, let's go ahead and get your mic open. You have the mic.
Hello, Jason, Brian, and Michael. We have a construction update every other month. Anyone can join that. If you want to reach me with a specific question, you can write me at RACINEN, Racine N at metro.net. To go into what's happening in construction right now is the design builder is building the portal, which is going to be widened. The portal takes trains from Division 20, where they're cleaned and serviced, into a portal into the back of Union Station, where they enter the purple and red lines, because of course both those are subways. So with the extension of the purple line, more cars are needed. More cars will need to be cleaned and serviced and stored. So that portal is being widened. So the turnaround time for red line and purple line trains coming off duty and returning to duty will be quicker because the portal will be widened. The Division 20 yard has been in service for quite some time. In fact, steam trains used to be handled in the Division 20 yard. One of the reasons that the First Street Bridge is being serviced is some of the protection from steam trains is no longer needed. They're being removed. I mentioned the age of the Division 20 yard because there's a lot of utilities that have to be moved to enable modern utilities to be there and the tracks to be moved and things like that. So there's a lot of excavation going on to discover and remove old utilities and add new ones. To make all of this work, about 6.2 miles of new track has to be added to Division 20. So that's one reason construction will take several years, is track has to be removed, has to be added and put in a new place. And those are some of the basic reasons why the Division 20 construction is so extensive. And again, if you want to ask me specific questions, you're always welcome to send me an email at racinen@metro.net. Thanks for the chance, Michael and Jason, to answer questions, and I'll be online till 7 if someone has specific questions about the Division 20 project.
We very much appreciate your time, Ned. Thank you.
We do have a question from an anonymous attendee. What is the current project schedule? So maybe Stevie, we can go to the actual schedule again. Great, so we are here. We can go back to the schedule. There we go. So we initiate the environmental scoping, as Brian mentioned, on March 29th. And public scoping is open until May the 12th. Again, today's public scoping meeting is to take verbal comments or comments through their Q&A. Again, we'll be doing this Saturday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then after that, the environmental analysis and technical studies will occur during this 2021 time period. In 2022, we continued the environmental analysis and technical studies, but by winter of 2022, we hope to prepare the draft EIR. And then in spring of 22, we'll release the draft EIR for public review and public hearings. And throughout this entire time, we have ongoing public participation. So we will continue to engage you in one way or another via email, or if we have any other opportunities for you to provide comments or any future meetings if there is any. But we will continue to stay engaged with you. Also visit our website. That will be another opportunity to stay engaged in this project as well. We'll also continue to update it as this project goes along. So those are the two updates from at least for the schedule where we're at.
Thank you, Michael. So very interested in hearing from you. There's quite a few of you still online. Please do not be shy. You can speak up or just send your comment or question through the question and answer function at the bottom of your screen. Roll your arrow down there to receive access to that. We are going to be here until 7 o'clock for you, so there is no rush, but we definitely would like to hear from you and make sure that we get the most out of this scoping meeting. We will be back out here again Saturday back online to hear from you, and maybe we can put that slide up again, Stevie, just to share those dates again with people, and if they'd like to participate, or share the meeting invite with anybody else they know that might be interested in participating. So Saturday, that's this Saturday from 11 to 1 o'clock. Plenty of time for you to think of a comment and come back and see us again. So mics are open, and we're just looking forward to hearing from you. So we're still online waiting for anyone that might have a comment or question related to the project and would like to be included in the scoping summary and initial comments that will be responded to in the draft environmental document for this project. This is for the 6th Street Art District Station. We hope to hear from you all either today in meeting, Saturday in meeting, or online through May 12th. We have our open comment period. You can comment by either written form directly with the project manager, Brian Lamb. You can also participate by email, or you can go on to the project website and use the comment form there to provide a comment. If you're emailing, it's on screen now, artdist6station@metro.net. We definitely want to hear from you, and every comment is valid. Every comment gets us one step better to a successful project. We really hope that that the community sees the value of this, obviously by some of the comments tonight. I think there's a lot of excited folks, and we're every bit as excited as well. So we look forward to hearing from you, and I hope that this is something that the community sees value in moving forward. So please please feel free to join us and provide a comment or statement on anything that comes to mind related to the Arts District 6th Street Station, serving both the Arts District and Boyle Heights communities, just adjacent to the LA River and the active projects underway right now in your community. So we look forward to hearing from you. And another last request for anybody that hasn't had a chance to sign in yet, please use the chat function again, going to the bottom of your screen, selecting the chat to get the link to go to the online form and sign up to make sure you receive updates and stay engaged with this project as we move through this environmental process. We'd love to hear from you. And that goes beyond the scoping period. You know, this is an active project, so the more input we get from the community, the better. Obviously, the scoping and the hearing process are the most critical because they directly are documented and included for public record. But know that we're here for you, and the team would love to hear from you throughout the process as well. And we will be providing updates at various points in time through the course of the project. And you can always go to the website to get the latest presentation and other information that might be posted there, active links and such. This document here, this presentation you're seeing today, as well as the recordings, we will be posting for your review and for you to share with your communities as need be. Please feel free to follow up with us in the coming days to look for that. Right now you have us, so feel free to leave us a comment, give us a question. For those of you that haven't visited our website, it is metro.net/arts-dist6th station. Encourage you to go there and read up on any links and documents, so forth, that are available to you. We will continue to keep that information fresh for you through the course of the project. Brian or Michael, would we have any information on these other projects? I know there are a number of different sources, but do we have any sense of the timing and whatnot that we might be able to share with those online while we wait for potential comments or questions? Just to let people know how these things are going to time with this new proposed station.
So the 6th Street Viaduct, which is a City of LA project, is currently under construction. I'm not entirely familiar with their construction schedule, but once that's complete, I know they plan on starting the construction on the park project, both on the east and west sides of the LA River. And as part of that project, there's planned open space, sporting fields, an auditorium, an outdoor auditorium, kind of presentation space. So a lot of cool, exciting open space planned there. There's also the LA River Path project that's in environmental clearance right now. And as part of their proposal, there's a potential access point using the existing tunnel at 6th Street. So there's possibility for project interface and connection at that point as well.
So for those of you following, we encourage you to follow along with these other projects as well. We of course are here for the Arts District 6th Street Station Metro project, looking to build a new proposed station at the 6th Street, just south of the 6th Street Bridge on the west side along the LA River. We are hoping to get your input today on the public comments period of the scoping process. Comments received today and through May 12th will be documented and included in the report and guide our technical team as they go through their analysis and in the final development of a draft environmental document that will be presented during a later date. We definitely hope that this information thus far has been successful and informative for you, but we look forward to your input. So please feel free to answer any questions you might have or ask any questions you might have and provide any comments you might have to get us thinking about what you would like us to consider, what, any impacts to the community that you're worried about, any exciting elements or benefits you see. All of these things are good to hear and to know where the community is focused on this project. So please share. Please give us whatever input you'd like to provide in the record. So we are here until 7 o'clock, so there is time. Still quite a big number of us online, so I'm hoping there's comments stirring around, and it's just a matter of time before they come to the surface. So feel free to join and into the conversation.
I see a comment in the chat from Tom Wolf. Tom, I know you arrived late, as asking, will the slides and materials be available for review and download? And the answer is yes. We have one more public scoping meeting this Saturday at 11 a.m. And once we complete our round of public scoping meetings, we will upload these presentations and recordings on our Metro website early next week. So there you can download them, take kind of like dissect the information there, and then provide your comments. You can provide comments until May the 12th. And so if you look in the chat, you'll see a bunch of different information in regards to the upcoming meeting, or how to follow this project along, or our Metro's website or email address. So hopefully you find that information useful. But yes, we are just taking comments at this point right now, and we did do kind of a few walkthroughs of the presentation, but don't worry, this information will be available early next week as well.
So again, for those of you joining us, should you or any of your coworkers, friends, community have interest in participating in a second meeting, we will be coming back to you live on Saturday, April 17th from 11 to 1. The Zoom link is on screen with the meeting ID and passcode. This will again be transmitted with interpretation in Spanish and Japanese, as well as closed captioning. So we look forward to your participation, or any of the friends and folks that you might have that you would like to let know that this is happening and that may not have been able to join us today. So please let them know that we'll be available if they'd like to participate in a live meeting.
So for the attendees that are still with us, let's briefly go over some of the project maps and project overview again. So this aerial view provides a good context of the area. Union Station is to the north, just off this graphic, kind of where the yellow triangle is. Our project site is shown in purple here. And it's located just south of the existing Metro Division 20 yard, where subway trains are stored, cleaned, maintained when they're not in service. And also at Division 20, the Division 20 portal widening and turnback facility project is currently under construction. This project is needed to expand the capacity of the Division 20 yard due to the D-line extension, and it will also allow for an increase in the frequencies that the trains can run on both the B and D lines. Also shown in blue on this graphic is the city's 6th Street Viaduct, which is a new bridge going over the LA River, connecting the Arts District to Boyle Heights in East LA. And then shown in yellow are some existing train tracks that belong to Amtrak, BNSF, and Metrolink, which is running directly east of the station site. And so on this graphic, you can see the context of where the station site is as it relates to Union Station. The blue dotted lines that you see here are the Division 20 turnback tracks. As I mentioned, the Arts District 6th Street Station projects would utilize these Division 20 turnback tracks as much as possible. And as part of this project, we're proposing to extend the current terminus of the B or D lines, which currently stop at Union Station. And the extension would go through the Arts District following the blue dotted lines down to approximately 6th Street, in between 6th and 7th Street. Let's see. So as part of this project, a new heavy rail station and the extension of the heavy rail train tracks would be constructed to extend it further into the Arts District to 6th Street.
Michael, it looks like we have a question from Pete.
Yes. The comment is, I'd like to see the addition and extension of the rail line beyond this proposed Arts District stop into the south end of Boyle Heights, with several stops either along Whittier Boulevard or Olympic Boulevard, with possible further extension into East LA and neighboring cities. So thank you for your comment.
Ryan, while we're waiting for additional feedback, maybe you could just do a very quick high-level review of the environmental and assessments that are going to be conducted during the course of this process.
Sure. So as shown here, as part of the environmental impact report, we will be evaluating all the environmental topics identified by CEQA in Appendix G. And so the key impact topics are listed here. But in addition to the ones that are listed here, we're going to also be looking at ridership, cost estimates, like rough cost estimates. And as we go through the environmental process and the technical studies, evaluating these environmental topics, as needed, any mitigation measures that might be needed will be identified as part of the EIR and will be available for public review during the draft, when the draft is released to the public.
Thank you for sharing that. So there's still a number of us out there. We welcome your comments, questions. There's been a lot of additional information shared. Please let us know if there's something you'd like expanded. The best we can, we will do that. Obviously, we're early in the process, but we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you're thinking, what areas of the project interest you, what possibilities you see for it, what questions you have about connections and future ridership, anything that comes to mind, really. We want to hear from you. We want to know what's important to you so that it gets included in this scoping process. And again, we'll have comment period open through May 12th. So you do not need to think of something today, but we are here for another 30 minutes and look forward to kind of making the most of this time with you. So please share. Stevie, can we go ahead and put back on the screen in which people can, how they can comment? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. So again, we're still here today taking comments for the Arts District 6th Street Station. This is a metro project looking at proposed improvements and a rail station for the river corridor. We look forward to hearing from you. This would be an extension of the currently active Division 20 yard and connecting red and purple line and with a new stop at 6th Street. We hope that you might have some comments to share, some thoughts on how this project might be beneficial to your community, and what you'd like considered and concerns you may have for that proposed station. Please submit your comments. We can do that through the Q&A session, scrolling to the bottom of your window in your computer interface by raising your hand, or you can do it online by dialing *6 to let us know that you'd like to leave a comment, and we will call upon you. So we look forward to hearing from everyone. There's still 30 minutes or so of our meeting. Comment period, our comment sessions are 2 minutes each, but you can make as many as you like. We are here for you to hear you, so please provide your input today. And for those of any of you that are online that are needing language assistance, there are interpreters that are online, closed caption, of course, for you. The chat function also provides some content for additional information and links. Also online, we did hear from Ned Racine earlier about the Metro Division 20 yard project, which is an active project at this time. Please reach out to Division 20 if you have any questions related to that project. And you know, we look forward to hopefully having a new station in your area. But obviously, this is the first step. We got to get your feedback, know what's important to you, and get through this environmental process so we know all the hurdles that must be considered. Please provide your comments, provide your suggestions, provide your inputs, provide your thoughts. We want to hear from you.
Jason, we do have a question from an anonymous attendee. Once approved or funded, how quickly would or could the station be built? So we thank you for your question. As Brian had mentioned, we're early on in the study. So any comments or questions being brought up today will be part of the analysis of the study. So if we don't have any questions, if we don't have any answers for you, and we don't respond to your questions, just because we're so early on in the study, but thank you for them anyways.
Stevie, can we go ahead and put up the other map with the projects and the connectivity, either of the aerial overheads?
Looks like there is a question from P. I can just read it out. The question is, would there be direct access from 7th Street? So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, P, for your question. As we mentioned, all of our questions and comments, we're taking them today, and as the study is in its early stages, and so we're just really just taking all your comments and questions at this point. So thank you for that.
So for those of you still online, we do have about 20 minutes left. If you have any comments, we are looking forward to hearing from you. But we will be here to the end. So P and others, thank you for being so active and thoughtful and staying with us.
I will just add, P, even though the question that you asked, if you look at this map right here, you'll see where the proposed project is located in between 7th Street and kind of like 4th Plaza, or like near 1 Santa Fe is kind of like the pinkish purple dots is where the proposed project area is. So just for context, so you can understand where this proposed project is located.
Thanks, Michael. And just to add, design of the project is still very early, so nothing is finalized at the moment. But on this graphic, you can see that we are looking at primary station access to the north, so possibly through the DWP parcel that you see highlighted in orange here. And that could potentially be a vertical pedestrian transfer going over the heavy rail tracks and connecting to Mesquite Street. Or we are also evaluating potentially connecting to an inactive 6th Street tunnel, which is currently there. And this tunnel is being integrated with the City of LA park project. So there's potential to have connection to the park through the 6th Street tunnel as well. That being said, we are evaluating possible ways to connect directly to 7th Street as we do see value in providing station access to the south as well. But at this time, design is in its early stages. Also shown on this graphic, you'll see in the magenta color are possible areas where track work changes may be needed. I mentioned earlier that the project will be utilizing the Division 20 turnback tracks as much as possible, but they will need to be extended. And so the extension of those tracks is shown in blue here. But because that the site is so constrained, situated kind of sandwiched in between existing train tracks as well as development on the west side of the proposed site. There may be some partial acquisitions that may be required. And in addition to that, the track work changes that are shown in magenta, these tracks belong to Metro, Amtrak, BNSF, and Metrolink. So depending on the area, coordination with all these agencies will be needed as well. So as design advances and we get a better idea of what exactly would need to change on the track work side, we'll reach out to those agencies and begin the coordination process then.
Okay, so it looks like we're in the last 15 minutes of our first public scoping meeting. Let's go back over, if for those of you that do have comments, we will be here till 7 o'clock today. We'd love to hear from you. However, the scoping period will run through May 12th, and we definitely would like to hear from you in that time. You can do that by mail to Brian Lamb directly. The mail address is on screen. You can do that by email at artdist6station@metro.net, or online using the website comment form at metro.net arts dist 6 station. This presentation, as well as the recorded meeting, will be posted online in the coming days. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you are looking to share that with anyone in your community. We also have our second meeting coming on Saturday. If you can go to the next slide, Stevie. That meeting will be from 11 to 1 on Saturday the 17th. That's in a few days. That will be another Zoom meeting, again with Spanish and Japanese interpretation and closed captioning available to you. So please be sure to include anyone in the community and interested parties from the region of FAR that might be interested in what's going on here and what we're proposing. So we definitely would like to hear from you in the next 15 minutes while we're online. It is 6:46 and our meeting will be going till 7. There are no comments online, but again, you can leave a comment by raising your hand in the Zoom feature or through the Q&A answer feature. We will read aloud your comments so that that gets read into record. Again, we are not directly responding to majority of comments. These are just for the purpose of inclusion in the final reporting, with some exceptions, basic clarifications and things like that we'll of course respond to. If you'd like to leave a comment, it'll be a 2-minute comment statement, but we have time for a few of those, so please feel free. You again see on screen how you might provide your comment. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. So for those of you that are online, if you are interested, you can use the, if you're curious, you can use the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen to hear the live interpretation in Spanish or Japanese, if you're curious, to see that function at firsthand for yourself. And anyone in the community that you might feel may have been shy to participate, let them know that this is something we're doing for this meeting series. Again, that will be available in our coming meeting on Saturday from 11 to 1. So I believe I saw a hand raise. It went away just as fast. But if someone did have a comment, we'd love to hear from you. For those of you still on the line, we're here receiving comments for the first scoping meeting of the Arts District 6th Street Station. This is a proposed station. We're going to be holding a second meeting this Saturday from 11 to 1 o'clock. Also a Zoom call with Spanish and Japanese interpretation and closed captioning available. If you have a comment period will be open till May 12th. That will be available through either a direct mail directly to the project manager, Brian Lamb, to the address on screen, by email to artdist6station@metro.net, or using the website online comment form at metro.net artdist6station. We definitely look forward to hearing from you and making this project and a draft environmental report as strong as it can be. The more public comment we receive, the better that document will be, and the better our final project will be if it moves forward. Definitely would like to hear from you. P, it looks like we have another comment. Michael, if you'd like to take that.
Sure. Would the station receiving naming inclusion for Boyle Heights and wayfinding signage for Boyle Heights, given the proximity and the potential use of the 6th Street Bridge as a station access point for Boyle Heights residents and visitors? So thank you, P, for your comment, your question. So it's greatly appreciated. Good one. And just a reminder, Pete, we are early on in the study, so we aren't necessarily responding to comments or questions, but it will be further reviewed after the public scoping meetings end.
So there's still a lot of good information out there, folks. We'd love to hear from you. Please dig deep. If there's something that you can think of that you feel you'd like to include and have us consider in that draft environmental report that we'll be delivering later in the process. Stevie, if you'd like to show the timing schedule again, just for everyone's benefit. Thank you. So again, for those of you online, just to kind of review for this last few minutes of our meeting, we have March 29th initiating the environmental scoping period. We'll be holding this meeting today and one more on the 17th as our scoping meetings. scoping period will be ending on May 12th. That is the end of the comment period. And then the environmental analysis and technical studies will run through 2021 into 2022 with the winter draft EIR preparation and a final release in spring, and the public hearing and comment period at that time to review that draft document. We definitely look forward to hearing from you in this first scoping period and having your participation in the coming hearing process. Michael, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, so thank you, Jason, for being the moderator during the public comment period. So we really appreciate it. If there is any final comments that anyone has, we are here till 7 o'clock. But just as a reminder, as we close this public scoping meeting out today, is that there are various options of how to provide comments. Again, we started this on March 29th with a 45-day public comment period that ends on May the 12th. There are various ways to write public comments, and that is by emailing Brian Lamb, and here's the address below. You can also email us at arts6station@metro.net. If you also email us and let us know that you like to subscribe to our email database, so to receive updates on the project as this project continues to move along in the project. Also, we have an online comment form if you visit our website. And the great thing about visiting our website is we will have all the presentations, the recordings, the NOP for this project, and as well as a map, and just we'll be continuously updating that website as this project moves along. So that's just in general a resource, but there's also an online comment form that you can just submit your comment then and there. So again, important deadline is May the 12th. And next slide.
This is the last slide, Michael.
Oh, I was going to go back to the date of the meeting, which is again this Saturday, April the 17th at 11 o'clock. Yeah, that one. Just so again, another reminder, it's from 11 to 1. So if you didn't get a chance to hear the presentation, and you want to bear with us again, you can join us on that day. So we thank you for attending today's presentation, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday, April 17th. And so I don't see any last comments, questions in the Q&A or chat, or anyone who has raised their hand. So we are at 7 o'clock. So thank you again for attending. We really appreciate it, and have a great evening. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.